It should not have been a necessity for me to come back and do this again. Why can they not learn?
You were happier there, you mean?
That is not the point. The point is that this could have been avoided by all. It should have not been allowed for me to have come again. I just don't understand what needs to be done.
This sounded similar to Ingrid's account in Convoluted Universe, Book 2, where she came back and was upset about it. She also didn't like what the humans had done to the world and was emotional about being sent back. Had you already gone through many physical lives?
This one thinks he has, but no. There are not many, just the ones that have to be done.
So you thought you had finished everything?
It should have been, yes.
Did you have any karma that needed to be repaid?
It was not a necessity. I'm only allowed to come back when the need is great. I should not have to do this again.
You sound angry about it.
Why could they not understand? We taught them. We showed them. We told them the consequences.
Who did you tell? Who are you talking about?
We were talking about those who were there on this plane, who were taught only if they would show those who move forward, to keep them in balance, to show what needed to be done.
The people who were alive on the planet at the time you were here before?
That is correct.
And you thought they understood?
They did. It seems to be a miscalculation on our part of what will transpire in the human race. We will not allow that miscalculation to arise again.
What was the miscalculation?
That there would be too much fear amongst them.
You thought they would be different?
Correct. That was the plan.
You thought you had accomplished what you started out to do?
That is correct. But we continue to monitor what happens here, and others. We thought the last time when it was corrected, that would be the last time. We told them, we gave them, we showed them what would happen again if it was not averted.
You know how humans are, they forget.
This is true, but we had safeguards in place. We had those others who were here to ensure that this would not happen again, but they did not listen.
The safeguards, the other spirits that were here, you mean?
By your perception of it, yes. There were energies in place, knowledge that was given at appropriate times to people. They were to share this, but others became involved and should not have.
What others? Do you mean humans?
This is not correct. No, other influences began to come about. Greed, fear, power. This should not be allowed on a grand scale. It will happen, we understand that. We have addressed this, but the magnitude of it was not allowed for.
You didn't think it would become so widespread?
That is correct.
When you came the other time and instructed the people, were you living in a physical body?
You would call it physical, but no. It was physical when you looked at that, but that was all.
Can you tell me something about the time period?
The last time is what you would call Atlantis. I was here at the end, yes. They abused their power, their knowledge. They misunderstood what it was there for. All they had to do was continue on the path that we set them on. We were sent back to correct this miscalculation.
At that time, were you living among the people?
No.
So you weren't a physical body in that way?
It was when viewed upon, yes.
Were you watching what was happening?
Others were watching. They realized what was going to happen if it continued on this path, and we were called in. That was our function. We are the ones that correct. We all replace. We all have what you would term a job. We are the ones that correct.
Are you like spirits?
Similar to that, yes.
Does this mean you have not had physical lives before in a physical body?
No. This one thinks he has, but no.
So you were called in with the others to help at that time because things were going wrong?
That is correct. The greed and power was coming to a point where it could no longer be allowed. If it was allowed to go forward, then the consequences would have affected too many other entities and planets that we are all connected with, and therefore that was not allowed at that time. It had to be changed and corrected.
What were they doing that was so negative? I knew the answers to these questions because I had already written about Atlantis, Convoluted Universe, Book 1, but I am always trying to either verify what I have found or add more information.
They were abusing the energy, abusing their knowledge. Instead of helping nurture and continue to understand and grow, they were manipulating what they had. They tried to change it, which it will change because it's a function of it, but that had not been allowed for. And then they were going to go down that one line that will exponentiate into other avenues which they were not ready to attain at that time. That type of knowledge was not ready for them at that time, and therefore the correction had to be brought forward. They were using this to destroy others, to regain power over others. Your legends say so, and if you look hard enough, you will find that.
I've heard that they abuse the power of their minds.
To a degree. Their minds were very advanced. We helped with this, the power of their minds, so that they could understand the energies they were working with, to advance not only themselves but the planet in general, which would in turn be a domino effect to the other planets and other communities and entities.
Were they using physical things also to create energy?
Your assumptions are correct at this time. There are crystals that are available and can be manipulated with the right energy to drive frequency. You have already tapped upon this in your writings while working with others. But there are also some crystals that have not yet been discovered that are what you would call a catalyst. They are the center. They are the holders. Certain individuals or energies can attain this and use this in the power that you would think would be known. No, it was actually the opposite. Things can happen and manipulate from this point and go forward.
Are these large crystals?
Some can be very large. Some are not.
You said they've not been rediscovered yet. Is this because when the changes took place they were buried again?
They were hidden, yes. They were already using these crystals and looking for the others. They cannot find the others. It is not allowed at this time, no. It would have allowed them to reach a new level of understanding that, with the way they were moving forward, would have had a negative impact on others on that plane of existence. They felt they knew everything. They could control it.
I've also heard they were trying to change nature.
They were, yes. They were changing DNA of the trees to bear more fruit, which is understandable in that case to feed the population. But also they did this without understanding the consequences of it. When they changed the DNA of these protectors, the structures were uncommon next to the other structures within and around them. And then with their vast knowledge and the power of their mind, it was clear they could also change the DNA of the humans. This they also became adept at. Some of your ancient legends will also show this. You have not found any evidence yet of this, but you will discover it soon. The ancient legends of what you would call a minotaur. There were those, and also others. They served no useful purpose whatsoever, but yet they still did this. They called this the new science. But one must understand that was not science. That was just the abuse of what they had. They already knew what would happen, but yet they wanted to bring it into fruition. They wanted to bring it into this plane, but in this instance, it should not have been there.
There is much more information about this in the chapters on Atlantis, in Convoluted Universe, Books 1 and 2. They were curious and wanted to see what they could do.
That is correct.
Isn't this something our scientists are bringing back now?
That is correct. That is why I am here, and the others are here also.
Your people have told me this before. We need to know this information because history is repeating itself.
This is true. It's already begun to happen again. They seem to be following down the same paths, yes.
They are trying to change the DNA of plants again. They said it is to make more and better food for the population.
They understand, but they are once again crossing that. They have surpassed what they have already done, and their manipulations are going down to what you would call a cellular level. But also these changes, you must understand, go past the cellular level. They go past into the energy level too, and they begin to manipulate that again. They have already done this.
We do know they're cloning animals and messing with the DNA of animals.
It's been going on for what you would term 15, 30 years, yes.
I've been told they're also doing this with humans, but it's not common knowledge yet.
That is correct. If they do not understand and realign their thinking, we are working with others. But as you would understand, there is much persuasion from the others to continue on that path.
It's all in the name of science, isn't it?
That is the term that is used, yes. Or now, as they are saying, it is the name of what you would call defense, military, the betterment of others.
Why would the military benefit from something like that?
They see it as a weapon.
The manipulation of DNA.
That is correct. What you would call bioterrorism. Also, creating a person who can withstand the battles of war.
He seemed to be having trouble finding the correct words. The words seemed foreign and strange to him. The words will come easier, because I know it's difficult using our words, but you mean their bodies would be manipulated.
The bodies are being changed to be able to go against a bioterrorism attack and succeed and survive. But they don't understand that the body itself will become a weapon against them. That which they formed to repel will evolve and come back to them again on a different level, and the consequences will be great.
Do you mean the body is able to develop something to counteract this?
They are working on this in their labs to inject it into a human body so that it will be repellent to bioterrorism, different ones. And they inject substances into it, change the DNA structure of it so that it will be adaptable to it. But that will only begin to break down after a short term, and they will no longer have a defense against what they have created themselves.
This is one of the reasons you're here, because they are going to harm the people.
I am here to stop this. We are here to make the corrections, yes.
Well, let's go back a little bit. You said you were there at Atlantis when everything was happening. What happened?
They were told to quit. If not...
If not what?
If they would not quit, then we were to control it. We come in and use our full power, and we make the correction. They would no longer exist.
Is that what happened at the time of Atlantis?
That is correct.
What kind of correction did you make?
We eliminated the population. We hid the civilization underneath the water, so it could not be found again.
I like to clarify these things. Is it all right if I keep asking questions?
At this time, yes.
Because these are things I am working with.
We understand this.
I have heard the scientists were misusing the crystal power, and that's what caused the destruction.
We did allow some of the population to survive so that the legend could be spread, so that others would hear of what had happened, and we had hoped that because of this, they would understand the value and also understand that they cannot misuse it, that we will be watching and we will take the appropriate action necessary to save not only this one, but others.
What others?
Other planets. It would be a chain reaction. This you already know.
So at that time, you did this even though it was something you didn't want to do, just destroy everything and start over.
That is correct, but it was a necessity.
This has been reported in some of my other books, that they are normally not allowed to interfere in the affairs of other cultures. They can only watch and observe. The only exception, and I have been told this many times, would be if we reach the point where we could possibly destroy our planet, either through the misuse of atomic power, or etc. This could not be allowed, because it would cause a ripple effect out into the galaxy and many other civilizations would be adversely affected. They also said it would affect other dimensions, where other cultures exist. It would be as the declaration of an unwanted and unjustified war that would have far-reaching effects. This could not be allowed. They said in such a circumstance they would be justified in stepping in and keeping this from happening. However, I have never heard anyone speak of the drastic measures that George was describing. This sounded unnerving, cold, and calculating, without any feelings for the human race. But did they consider that the human race at that point had moved beyond the need for humane feelings? This would indeed have to be carried out by a totally different type of entity. I have had stories of people who did survive.
That is correct. They were allowed to. Some were given notice so that some of the knowledge could be used to restart.
These stories have been reported in Convoluted Universe, Book 2, and some of my other books. But the majority of Atlantis is under the water.
That is correct, and they are searching for it at this time.
I've also been told parts are under mounds of dirt.
Parts, yes.
But this was something you didn't really want to do.
It is our function.
Did someone or something tell you to do this?
The collective understands what needs to be done.
Even though it would appear to be negative to destroy a whole civilization.
That is true. We have done this many times.
On Earth or in other places?
Where we are needed.
I've heard that many times on Earth, other civilizations besides Atlantis went down.
Correct.
But you have also been sent to other worlds?
Yes, this is our function. That is who we are.
Does this mean that you have never lived in a physical body until now?
There have been times when we had to take on the bodies of the civilization, so we could impress upon them the value of what needed to be accomplished, yes.
But you're angry because you had to come back. You thought you had fixed it the other time.
That is correct. It should not be a necessity at this time, but it is.
There have been many, many, many generations since that time.
That is correct.
And it seems as though the people are back in power again, making the same mistakes.
They are. The other ones that have come in at this point in time have had influence that we had not allowed for. The collective has said it was a necessity.
Are the other ones those energies that are causing the negative influence?
Yes.
Are they also in physical body?
They are not in the physical body as you would think. They appear physical, yes. They have a different agenda. We are as diverse as you would say the humans are.
Isn't there a control, like the collective, that would not allow this negativity to come?
There is a collective. It is allowed, yes.
Is this what is causing the wars and everything in our present time?
That is correct at this time.
But you said there are many others like yourself that have come back to correct this.
Why are you looking for this information?
When suspicion arises, I always have to answer carefully, or the flow of information would be cut off. Because I'm like a reporter, I'm an accumulator of information. I write about it, you know that. But it's to let people know what's happening. Is that acceptable to you?
Yes.
I'm trying to help in my own way so people will know what's happening.
We understand.
I have spoken to many other people in this state who say they have been sent to make changes.
There are different levels of change that you speak of. We are the final level. The others are here to help facilitate the change. If the change does take place, then we are not needed. If it does not take place, then we will correct.
The same way as before?
We will correct.
Would it be the same way with the water?
It would be a correction.
Do you mean it would be something different?
We are not allowed to tell you at this time, no.
That's all right. I take as much information as I'm allowed to receive. I spoke to a man in England who said there were 7 people who were sent. I was wondering if you were one of those, or if you're doing something different. See the chapter in Convoluted Universe, Book 2, the first of the 7. They told me not to reveal the identities and not to put them in touch with each other, that they had to do their work separately.
I am not of that group. They are the ones who are here to facilitate the change. If they fail, we are the group that will correct. We are the final group.
I think this is very valuable information, because the world seems to be stumbling along, making the same mistakes all over again.
That is correct.
Is it all right for me to know these things?
At this time, yes.
And I will not reveal the identity of the body you are speaking through.
That will not be allowed, no. It is not his time yet to be fully known. He will be.
That was one thing he wanted to ask about. He feels he has power, and he wants to know why he can't use it.
We all have power, that is true. We would be called the final solution. The ones of your group have what you consider much power, yes. He is the power.
I have worked with many others who were healers and practiced different energy work in a physical body in other lifetimes. They are now bringing this knowledge back.
He has looked into many different areas and is very familiar with all of them. He will feel an affinity with them. He will understand them, and it will come and seem natural to him.
He felt that he had a power from somewhere, and he wanted to know if he could get that back. But there's also the fear of allowing this power to come through.
That's understood.
Because he is human.
In your perception, yes.
Are you going to allow him to experience these things?
This will be allowed now, yes.
If he allowed this power to come through to help people, would he be able to control it?
He can control it, yes.
Of course, if there was too much power, it would frighten people.
This is true. The power that is attainable is great, yes. We have been working with him, and we will open up the pathways for it to come through again. It will no longer be gradual. It is time for him to go, to move forward with this. He'll be allowed to experience the major energy shifts that are coming. He will be allowed to access the universe to use the energy.
But he also has to live a human life.
This is true.
I am always well aware that I perceive the person I am working with to be a normal human being, and I am very careful not to disrupt their life, no matter how strange the information. He has to live in the physical world, and he has to have a job and the things that a human needs. We don't want to interfere with any of that, do we?
That is irrelevant.
But it's what humans have to do.
We understand, but it's still irrelevant.
My job is always to protect. So what you are going to let him do will not interfere with his human life, will it?
The question is understood.
He said he was trying to get more information from the spirits. It's actually coming from you, isn't it?
That is correct.
And he wanted to know what was holding him back from attaining these things.
He still retains the fear and the anger from the last time, and why they have not understood and moved forward. That is why he has these doubts that come forward sometimes, and he realizes that he may say that humans are stupid and do not understand. This is the reason and where it comes from.
He said there was anger.
Oh yes. That time has come and passed now.
So this is what was holding him back.
He was never held back.
Well, he felt he was.
It's understandable.
He also felt he had the ability to move objects.
He has the ability to do much. Moving objects is what you would term as child's play, yes?
Will he be able to bring that ability back?
Oh, that's fine. We've been showing this to him off and on. It is natural for him, yes? This and the other abilities will start coming back immediately, yes.
Another ability that George thought he had was the ability to locate objects. He wanted to help people locate buried things. This was something George wanted to do very badly, yet he felt he wasn't able to do it. He also was interested in healing other people.
He can do anything. He still associates that with the last time. It's there again, and it's just one small part of what the ability is, yes. There again, we would term it as a child's toy, yes.
So he will be able to have these abilities back?
He's already had them. We will unshield it, yes.
So all of these abilities that he's been afraid of will begin to resurface?
That is true. We will begin to unshield those now. The shield has been up for a while to protect this, because he was not quite ready, in the human sense, to understand or grasp the enormity of it. So he had to be protected until now. He has been doing these things and others. He will be known for some of these things, yes.
But here again, we don't want to disrupt his life.
That's irrelevant. You don't understand the concept of his purpose here. His purpose here is to create things, and make them grow a certain way they have to by the collective. Just because he attains a human body is irrelevant to this matter. But yes, we understand the question. We understand what you are trying to do for the human body. We understand that point. We will make adjustments for this now, yes?
Because he does have to live in this world. And if he appeared to be too unusual, he could be put away somewhere. Then he wouldn't be able to accomplish anything, would he?
He will not allow humans to fully perceive what he can do. He will enjoy working with the child's toys part, yes, and that will satisfy the humans. It will keep them from understanding what he can do. But we also understand he's being looked for now, him and the others, yes.
I was wondering if the government would try to find them.
They are aware that we are here, yes, but they do not know where. The others are trying to help them find us, yes.
So if some of these abilities are revealed, he's not going to be in any danger?
They cannot harm him, no. Soon they will realize that he is here, yes. They know he is here. Let me clarify this. They know he is on this planet, yes. They know that he is beginning to adapt and use the abilities now. Yes, they are aware of that. Soon they will also be aware of actually who he is. But by that time they will not be able to do anything to him, for him, or against him.
So you think these are government people?
Them and others, yes. The other ones who are working with them, yes.
I have had other clients that we were told to protect.
He needs no protection now, no.
Because I wouldn't want to do anything that could hurt him.
We understand. That is correct.
So if he becomes more noticeable, then they will identify him.
Oh, that is true, yes. And we wish this to happen, yes. When they identify the group, they will know how many of the group is here. And therefore, our goal is, if they will adjust by just knowing the group is here, then we have achieved our goal, yes.
They don't know how many are involved. They can't possibly find them all.
Yes, they will. They have the understanding. We will allow them to know where we are. Yes, that is correct. This group only, though. We must clarify that. It is this group only.
What is the difference between this group and the others?
If you were in a battle, and you were an infantry soldier and a tank was coming towards you, you identify where the tank is, of course. But would you stand in front of the tank?
No. So what's the correlation?
The group is like a tank. Each one is like a tank. They can identify them, true, and that is our goal, as are many, to have them identify them. They have to. But once they identify them, at that point, they cannot do anything to them. Now, of course, they will try, but they will learn how insufficient that is.
So the other groups are doing other work?
Correct. Each group has its own job to do.
Nobody could hurt this person, could they?
The physical part, the human part, at this point and time in his life, perception is yes. But what needs to be understood is, to see why all this was arranged, from this point on, that which is the human part will still be there, yes. We will not allow it to be moved away, but the essence of who he is, the essence of what his ability and what you would say is his job must be accomplished. So therefore, that part of him has already begun to come through lately, and will continue on now with accelerated pace, yes.
So things will be changed in his life now?
Of course.
Okay, but we always want it for the positive. I know you're frowning, but I always work with the positive.
And in this one's frame of understanding, he tries to always be the positive. And he does want the human population to be positive and correct itself. By doing that, he will not have to follow through on his job. He knows what can be accomplished. He knows that if it comes to him and the others of his group to come forward and fully announce themselves to this world again, what you term as a cataclysm would be great, yes.
I was told that everything would have to start all over again, and that would take too long.
This is true, but he and others are here in place just in case.
Does he know any of these others, or is he supposed to?
He has not met any yet, but there are many, yes.
When George was a child, he had many problems with his kidneys and was put on a lot of medication. I have had other cases where people were actively involved with working with energy, both in this life and especially in past lives. They also had problems with their organs and unexplained fevers during childhood that mystified their doctors, who used many medications to no avail. During the sessions, it came to light that their physical bodies had difficulties incorporating the higher vibrating energy that had been carried over from their past lives. George had been told he did not have any past lives, yet the explanation was similar.
He cannot filter into this lifetime very easily. The energy was too great for the body that was chosen for him. The people, the individuals, recognized that something was different, and he was examined. But the main reason was that the energy was too much for the body at that time, and it had to adapt to it. It affected not only his kidneys, but many parts of who the body is, yes.
But the kidneys are all right now, aren't they?
Yes. We are working with him, helping him to adjust, helping to clear his mind, his essence, so that it can be adjusted to the new energy, so he will realize and understand who and what he really is. We did not understand that it was causing this much problem with the ability of the healing body to maintain itself. We will correct that.
They went through George's body and adjusted many organs and parts as they went. They talked about some loose connections, which were preventing the energy from flowing correctly and smoothly. They even found problems that George was unaware of. The healing and adjustments would continue over the next 2 weeks. Sometimes it is not advisable for the healing to take place instantly, because it would be too traumatic for the body. George had also discussed having problems sleeping at night. He woke up every 2 hours.
That is the energy flow. The information that had been given to him at that point in time comes in flows, and the pause between the flows wakes him up, yes. He must receive the energy, but we will adjust the time framing of it, yes.
I asked if he would become successful at healing or doing energy work to where he could stop his regular job.
His goal is not to be successful at this. His goal is to facilitate a change. But in your terms, he will become successful at this in making changes, yes.
He has an irrational fear of dusk, right before it gets dark. Can you explain that?
When do you think Atlantis was taken care of? That was when they corrected the last one. The correction was started at dusk, yes?
That was when they began the correction that ended in the cataclysm?
Yes. He realizes his power and what he must accomplish. The fear was irrational. We will adjust that now. You are a facilitator that was gained to allow him to access this at this time. He has always had the feeling that in the human context he could not accept. And by being here with you at this time, he was able to access the information. Therefore, we can now remove the shields that he had put up until the appropriate time. So now they will be removed, and he will be able to understand and move forward, yes. That is the connection.
Everything has to happen in the correct time. Let's hope you don't have to do the final solution again.
We will do our job, yes.
We hope it doesn't come to that this time around. Maybe the human race will begin to get the message.
They didn't last time.
It seems as though the plan, the goal, had taken into account every possibility. They are trying to change conditions on Earth by introducing new, pure spirits in many ingenious ways. But just in case they are unsuccessful, the final solution was also placed here. They have said that the increased new energy that is entering seemed to be having an effect. But just in case they are prepared to use drastic measures again. Let us hope those of George's energy and assignment will not be needed.